Dan, what do you think of the wide receiver core for the Bears? Do you believe they have enough when you look at the depth chart now?
No, I don't. I mean, you love Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
You feel very good about the arc of Darnell Mooney and his career, but this is a position that they're constantly rebooting at, Hoodie. And you look at the moves that Ryan Pace has made over 7 roster cycles now, right? He came in 2015, and you see the Kevin Whites and the Anthony Millers and the Riley Ridleys and these guys that never panned out. And then the one guy that does pan out, Allen Robinson, you can't come to a long-term contract agreement with, and you're constantly pressing the reset button at that position. I think you can feel good about those first 2. And then you're talking about Marquise Goodwin, Damiere Byrd, and Rodney Adams. And for the most part, that second 3 it just kind of makes you shrug. You need to see more from those guys to believe that they're going to be major difference makers in this offense. But right now, I would want more talent and depth in that position than they have. It is what they have. I do think they have an element of speed that hasn't been here to this level in the past, and for Matt's offense, that should be a plus, but let's see what happens.
Dan, you know what happens when you get to cut down day, and then when the smoke clears, you see the depth chart, and you go, oh, geez. It's so filled with so many names, and then when the guys are gone, they're like Allen Robinson, and then Darnell Mooney, and like you said, Marquise Goodwin, like Rodney Adams, who earned a spot, and to me, that's not enough, Cap. That's not enough weapons for if he's trying to run the Kansas City offense, right? And then Tarik Cohen, we don't talk about putting on the PUP list. I know we didn't see him last year, but I think that hurts too a little bit not having him
big time.
Yeah,
right.
Well, I'm not going big time because I like what I've seen out of Damian Williams. I think he can be a decent plug-in in that role. I do think that it's notable that Tarik doesn't look anywhere close to practicing, right? And so he's guaranteed to miss the first 6 games of this season by staying on the PUP list. And I using an educated guess, anticipate it's going to be a lot longer than that. Because as we watched him just walk around the practice field on the sideline, walking from drill to drill with his fellow running backs, he looks like that right leg is just dragging. And it doesn't look like he's ready to play high-level NFL football anytime soon. And so that's a story that the Bears haven't really given us much insight on. Matt told us at Family Fest in August that Tarik was closer to weeks away than days away, and then felt obligated or pressured to walk that back the next few weeks, saying, I shouldn't have said that. Well, why shouldn't you have said that? That's the honest assessment. He's not only weeks away, but probably months away from playing a football game. So why is there this constant, sort of just desire to conceal everything that makes everybody on the outside distrust anything you tell them?
The football team obviously has issues on the offensive line. You tweeted, I'm going to paraphrase it. I don't know.
It's always dangerous when you paraphrase because you get things wrong a lot.
A week or 10 days ago. And you said you actually feel positive that this offense might take a step. I'm not telling you they're going to be the Chiefs. I'm not telling you they're going to be the Bills. But you actually are positive about your feelings on this offense. A, can you explain why? And B, how much do you think that translates quickly here in the season?
Fist bump for paraphrasing that accurately. Thank you for doing that, because I think it's very important to put this in context. I think they can make notable strides forward. Now, this is all relative, right? This is from an offense that's been near the bottom 5 the last couple of years. They made a small jump up. I don't remember where they finished last year, 24th maybe. I think they can get into the teens, the late teens, 17, 18, 19 as an offense here. And it's predicated on the fact that I think that if this offensive line is healthy, with the 5 that they want to play up front, with Peters and Fetty at the tackles, and then obviously the interior 3 that we've talked about for a while, that line can be better than people on the outside think it can be. They're getting killed right now. That offensive line is getting, just absolutely hammered by people on the outside as being miserable. And I don't think they're as miserable as that when they're at full strength and they have time to gel together. I also think that the weaponry that these quarterbacks have to work with, we talked about being a little bit thin at receiver. Well, you've got some good running backs with Montgomery, taking a step forward in his career with Damian Williams. You've got tight ends with Jimmy Graham, Cole Kmet, and Jesse James that can do things for you offensively that allow you to play matchup games, right? And that's what Matt loves, the ability to have a bunch of different answers where you can put matchups on opposing defenses and really stress them out. And so that's why I think they can make some strides forward. To your question about whether it will be seen right out of the gate, it's not going to be seen in week 1 because this offense is a work in progress and that Rams defense is not. And so I expect that Rams defense to really have their way with a Bears offense that they've had their way with the last 3 years. Look, I gave the stat the other day to Waddle and Abdallah. It's 35 possessions that the Bears have had in their last 3 games against the Rams, and they've scored 2 touchdowns. So if you're expecting them to explode in week one, you got another thing coming. But beyond that, I think they can make those strides for all the reasons I just said.
Especially in the first quarter. The Bears are terrible offensively in the first quarter.
The worst.
You might just come out in the second because you're not going to score in the first. I know, Dan, you've seen and heard a lot of criticism from Matt, and I think it stems from the way he's telling the press about his decision with the quarterback, the way he's explaining it. Do you believe that the criticism is justified based on how Matt is explaining why he's going to Dalton, not Fields?
Yes, that's a good question, Hoodie, because I think that there has been a lot that's been lost in translation because the messaging from inside the building hasn't been clear, right? Like I don't think they've explained this very crystal clear from April until now. And I think there are very crystal clear ways to explain it. When you talk to people on background and behind the scenes, they explain it better than Matt does at the podium sometimes in terms of all of the things that a rookie quarterback has to absorb and learn to be able to function at a high level in an NFL offense. It's a huge checklist, and Justin Fields is making great progress in checking boxes on the checklist, but there's a lot more work ahead. And so people on the outside have to realize that this is a really tough league. There's a lot that comes with it. And the one thing that the Bears are protecting against is either getting him into situations where he loses his fundamentals and starts out his NFL career falling into bad habits, or B, starts out his career and say they go 1-4 against a difficult schedule and he struggles. Well, now you're dealing with this, sort of tsunami of outside criticism and this struggle that they think they can protect him from with a veteran quarterback that they think can still put them in position to compete with the running game and the defense they have. And so those are all things that I don't know have been articulated very well from the podium. And so I do think that some of the criticism from outside is justified because it hasn't been explained super clear from the inside. Hopefully I can do my job as an intermediary between, the coaching staff and the fans to try to convey this message sometimes on what they're saying and what they're seeing. And then we're just going to have to be patient and understand, again, I've told you guys for a while, Justin Fields is not going to be on that bench long. He's made up enough ground on Andy Dalton that if you give him another month to learn the things they want him to learn, he'll be ready to go, and everyone will be excited, and we'll have, look, we got a 17th game this year, so if he sits for 4 games, he'll still have 13 to start.
Hey, man, have a great day, okay?
All right, fellas, good talking to you.